going to make something really, really simple today. It's so fast. It's so easy. And I'll tell you why we're going to do it. Today we're going to mess around with hummus. And I know the purists may not like this, but we're going to do a high protein hummus for a couple of reasons. One, for somebody like me, hummus tends to be a little heavy. Now, this is if I buy it. I have made it. I don't always like the way it comes out. So we're going to make a high protein hummus that's super easy. So what I've got is, I like this particular flavor. This is called Pepper House by Boar's Head. It's okay. It's a little peppery for me, but I like the flavor profile, if that makes sense. And the other thing I found about pre-made hummus is that we have a wonderful Mediterranean restaurant around here. It's like a regional chain, I think. It's called Aladdin's, and they make the best hummus. I could eat there every day, but I would be broke if I did. So what I have found with making a high protein hummus is I get that texture, if that makes sense, without making it from scratch myself. And I have made it with canned chickpeas. I've made it with dried chickpeas, all the way from beginning to end. The only thing I've not made is my own tahini. Like I said, not bad, a little peppery for me. This just happens to be my store brand. I like it. If you like Good Culture, use Good Culture. If you like Breakstone, use that. I'm not telling you have to use any particular brand. This is just the brand that I have. Happened to be on sale this week. So that's what we're doing. By the way, if anybody would notice, I'm without makeup today. And that is because I'm getting over pink eye, which I figured out last week. And so I was treating over the weekend and feeling much better. But, if you've ever had it, you do not wear makeup or anything like that. I have to throw all my eye makeup out and do it all again and buy new. So, and since I'm leaving town in a few days, I definitely do not want to mess with that. So I would rather be barefaced, as they say. So to this small container of hummus, I am going to add 1 cup of 1 cup of cottage cheese. And so I have a question. That's a little more than a cup, but close enough. If you're here, I am making a high protein. I was just going to say, I'm going to make a high protein hummus. And if you're someone who, again, I know this is just one of the things that I've noticed lately is a lot of the moms in particular who have kids who have celiac, who hate to cook. They're like, just give me something I don't have to cook. That's what this is today. This is something you don't have to cook. You take a pre-made hummus, add a cup of cottage cheese to that pre-made hummus. And then we're going to play. Once we get this made, we're going to play a little bit. And we're going to share some things. Because the other thing is, what's typical to eat with hummus? Pita bread. And yes, you can make your own pita bread, but gluten-free. But again, if you don't like to cook, I'm going to give you a bunch of ways to serve this and to play with it. So, especially the gluten-free dippers. So we're going to pulse this a couple of times, and then I'm going to turn it on until it's just mixed and very smooth, because it does get very smooth. Whipped cottage cheese gets really, really smooth, and it's delicious. And because I know me, I'm going to put a lid on that so we don't spill it. Put it to the side. Okay. And that's all the longer it took, honestly. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, and then, like I said, I'm going to be traveling, so I'm going to fill several of these because it's so good. Portion control is a thing. So I'm going to pull this off of here. And I'm just going to portion this out really quickly. There'll be plenty left over for us to deal with. At least I think there will. And if not, I'll save some. So that will give me a nice portion, like if I want to have a snack while we're driving, because it is a road trip. And I love taking healthy stuff on road trips. I used to like, there's a saying that says when you go on a road trip, the snack should look like a 9-year-old was given $100. Which, that's how I used to feel, but not anymore. So it actually, 3 is going to be all I'm going to be able to make. So, which is no big deal. That'll be good. And I can always make more. So this is how I portion control for not eating too much of it at one time, because I do really enjoy it. And then we're going to take what's left. And we're going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to take this off because this is really sharp and I don't want to cut myself. Because yes, I have cut myself on blades like this before. Pop that in the sink. And so, hi Ruby. We are making, well, we've already made it actually, high protein hummus. What we did is we took some regular hummus and we took a cup of cottage cheese. And we put it in our food processor and we let it go to town. So then I'm actually going to have this for dinner tonight with some dippers. So I want you guys to see what I'm going to have. This is, it's funny. My husband saw this the other day. He's like, have you ever even used that thing? I'm like, I don't remember. And he's like, we should just get rid of it. And then today I was like, this is perfect. So I was really glad we didn't get rid of it. And that might even be more than I'll be able to eat for dinner, but that's okay. It's going to look pretty anyway. All right. So that's our, believe it or not, that's the, it is really good. I like it with the high protein because it's it doesn't feel quite as heavy to me. So, all right. So that's that. All right. Typical kinds of dippers would be celery, which I love. And I'm going to make extra because I'll be eating other stuff that I'm going to dip this week. My husband is working. My husband is working evenings, so those of you who understand, it's going to be kind of a girl dinner kind of thing this week, where I'm not going to do a ton of cooking, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of IT guy, but he'll be fine. He's good at fending for himself if he has to, but we'll also have some clean out the fridge. We've still got some stuff from last week, to be honest. I'm going to rinse these off really quickly and add those. I also like to make these, especially when they're already cut up. I love, I'm going to date myself. I love ants on a log, preferably red ants on a log, we call it, with cranberries, and I use nut butter or almond butter rather than peanut butter most of the time. Okay. So I'm going to give myself, that one's not pretty. I'm going to skip that. So I'm going to give myself a few carrots. That's traditional. I'm also going to, there they are. I'm going to throw a few carrots in there. Did I just say carrots? I don't think I did, but all right. So I'm going to do about half a dozen carrots. like a deconstructed salad almost. So we're going to put those in there. I'll put those where you guys can see them. And then I like to put tomatoes in there. And I'll just do about just a few of those. So a couple of each color. Get a little more color on the plate. And then I have some cucumbers that I already had sliced up to go with our hummus. And these are the little Persian ones. I love them. Love them. So for travel, I'll probably get an English cucumber so I have bigger slices. But for this kind of meal, it's nice and tasty. And just another little color there. Fun tip, if you don't know, if you cut up cucumbers and they tend to go bad on you quickly, I typically put this on the bottom of the bowl, but this helps absorb some of the moisture so your cucumbers don't get all slimy. Works with cucumbers or celery too. All right, and then as we said before, pita is a big thing, and you can make gluten-free pita. I happen to have this from last week from a sandwich that I made, which is a gluten-free deli-style sourdough. So I'm going to put a few of those in there so I can have that. And then a little different, I like to use cheese sticks as dippers. A little more protein, which I'm always looking for. You're getting some good fiber from your veggies. Typically I don't really even use bread. I'm using it because I happen to have it. But I'm going to just slice those in half. So got myself some extra protein there. And that's really what I'm going to use. I think that was all my dippers. Oh, now I have just a few more that I'm going to use. This, and we're going to make these tomorrow again. I made a test batch. I don't always make a test batch, but I made some copycat homemade gluten-free Cheez-Its. And I learned a lot doing that, which is why I did it. So I'm just going to grab a few of those. It'll be nice with that. So I will be making those tomorrow. And one of the things I love about hummus and things that you can do just to make it very different is different types of toppings. So I'm going to show you about, I think I've got like 8 or 9 different types of toppings. Now, you can always go with the tried and true. This is an extra virgin olive oil. If you do that, and I learned this the hard way, you make sure you get yourself a really good quality extra virgin olive oil that is a tasting olive oil. I didn't know that back in the day. I didn't grow up eating hummus. I didn't grow up with olive oil, to be honest. Hey, Christy. So if you're somebody, hummus was new to me. I didn't eat hummus till I was an adult. And one of the things I love about it is that it is so versatile and you can do so many things with it. And so for anybody who's just popping in, we took some Pepper House hummus and we mixed it with some cottage cheese and we made ourselves a high protein hummus. Then we made ourselves some dippers. This is going to be my husband's working evening, so this is my girl dinner for the evening. I'll probably grab something for IT guy. We got to get our dogs. They're on a play date, as we call it. They went to get baths and nail trims and they're hanging out. So then we got our dippers put together. And now let's talk toppings. One of my favorite toppings, and I'm going to make this, and I'm actually going to put several things together. Would you give me a plate? Because I'm going to put some of these toppings on the plate. So I know, I feel like yesterday I made a cheese souffle, and it was kind of a flop, not a souffle. I tried a different recipe. And if you've ever made a souffle, one of the things you have to do is you have to whip your egg whites. And this was a chef. And he's like, you don't have to do that. My mother never did it. And this is how it came out. And his came out looking way better than mine did. It was still tasty, but it felt so heavy when I was done. And so I felt like I needed to eat light today. So that's especially at the end of the day after yesterday. So one of my favorite toppings for hummus is olives, and especially like a tapenade where you've got several different kinds. Okay, this is my favorite olive, and yes, I'm gonna mix my Italian and my Mediterranean olives because I like them. So I believe it's pronounced Castle of Vetrano. I think so. So that's my absolute favorite. So I'm just going to chop that up, and I'm going to put that to the side, and I will probably put that with the bread because it gives me a lot of leeway with the bread. So chop this up into little bits. And I grew up thinking I hated olives, believe it or not. But the only ones I ever had were like the ones with the red. They're supposed to be pimentos, and half the time they aren't pimentos. They're red bell peppers, and I'm not a big fan of red bell peppers. So, all right. And then my brother's husband, they used to get them, and I don't know why Costco doesn't carry them anymore, but there were these big jars of Castle of Vetranos, and he's like, try one of these. And I'm like, I really don't like olives. He's like, try one of these. And I did, and I was hooked. I was like, what have you done to me? So, and then I'm going to toss some Kalamata in there as well. So, and Kalamatas are not my favorite. They're great like in a salad. I love them in a salad, especially when the vinaigrette is kind of really sour. So, I just like their umami, if you will. So once I got these all in discs, then I'm gonna give them a good rough chop. Because again, what I will do is I'll put them as a topping. When I put it on the bread, I'll use the tapenade as a topping. And sometimes, depending on what flavor of hummus I've got, I'll throw in a pickle or two. And I've even been known to throw in like a sweet gherkin, which will just give it a different kind of flavor. Just one. I don't want it super sweet, but it can add just a little tiny sweetness. So I know, Christy, olives really are good for you, and I think that's lovely. So, all right, so I'm going to take that. Like I said, I'm going to put that on here. I'm going to put all my toppings that if I chop them up or whatever. That was a lot more than I thought. I could have done probably 3 per. But that's okay. Like you said, olives are good for you. So there's that. Put that to the side. And I was saying earlier, for those of you who've come in, I've seen a lot of moms lately on the forums that they really don't like to cook. So they want stuff that's easy. Now, all the different things I'm showing you take a while, but they don't have to. I mean, you can buy pre-cut veggies and stuff like that. So, as I always say, you do you. If you don't want to do all these toppings, don't. Here's something chili crisp. Now, for those of you who are gluten-free, I know you are not all. I found this recently, and I was loving it. And I guess because I bought this first, And I checked it very carefully. And right here it says it's gluten-free. Didn't really think about whether this would be or not. And I was reading yesterday, I was reading the ingredients on this, and this has soy sauce powder in it that has wheat in it. So I've been glutening myself, tiny little bit, but it explains why my stomach hasn't been feeling good for the last couple of weeks. And it makes me sad because I really like it. So I'm going to look for a recipe and we're going to make it at some point. But this is a milder version. It doesn't have as much garlic in it, but this is great on hummus. It's also great just on cottage cheese. It just gives it a different flavor, gives it a zing that you can toss on there. Something else, if you want to brighten up your dish a little bit, some capers. Again, you don't need too many of them. I'm going to do maybe that many. I'm going to get out to add to one of my bread pieces. And they've got you've never had a caper, because it's not something you would necessarily buy, but they're a little salty. And they add a brightness. They almost have a lemony taste to them, which is kind of interesting, but they are very salty too. One of the other things you can do, and it actually makes it very pretty if you're going to serve it, is sesame seeds. And I like to mix black and regular and just put it on there, and it just gives it a really nice look to it. And then this one I'll actually be taking with me because it'll give it a nice crunch. These are crispy shallots, and it's just shallots and green onions that are fried, and they come out like, they look like they've got something on them, but they don't. They're just, I don't know if you can hear that, but they just come out with this nice crunch. It kind of reminds me, without the spice, it kind of reminds me of it's a bloomin' onion at Outback. I forget what they're called. Awesome Blossom, I think, at a Texas Roadhouse. So it's almost like that batter, but you don't have any wheat in it. So that's awesome. And then traditionally, depending on where you learned how to make your hummus, chopped up pistachios can be put on top. Also makes it very pretty. It's got a nice, green color to it. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Andra? Glad you could stop in. This is going to be a short one today because there's just not. Now, if you wanted to, if you're not into pistachios, you could go with pumpkin seeds, pepitas, whichever you want to call them. They've still got that nice green color. Chop them up a little bit if you wanted to. And these things are so stinking healthy for you. They've got 8 grams. Now, it's a quarter of a cup. You're not going to use that much, but it's got a lot of protein in it. It's got fiber in it. It's got, it's got manganese, copper, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, iron, and calcium. All of those things in this little tiny seed. And if neither of those appeal, you could also go with some sunflower seeds. Like I said, I'm going to start with a really good olive oil. And this olive oil, again, I was skeptical because I've not really had great olive oils in the past. But this one is from Spain. My daughter-in-law got some for me. This was a Christmas present. And I think it's the cutest little thing. You pull this up and it makes its own, it's got its own little pouring spout, and it's got little holes in it so you can't over pour it, and you can pour it really nicely. And you just put a little drizzle on there like this. And when it's a really good olive oil, it tastes so good. When Italians used to say they use olive oil instead of butter, I'm like, why would you do that? It tastes terrible. But then I got good olive oil. And I'm rationing it out because I only have this much. So, but it is so good. So thanks. I like this. I got this. I got this apron when I was out visiting my son in San Francisco. This is one of my favorites. I have this one, and I got another one. It was a place that was going out of business. So I don't need a fork. I need a knife. So here's the deal. This, obviously, you're going to not dip. You're going to put something on here. That's a little much. Like I said, I won't eat all of this, but it'll get me started for a nice dinner. So I would put something like this on here. And then I would take some of my olives on here. And because it's kind of sticky anyway, they're all going to stick. And then if you really wanted to, if you're somebody who needs to have meat with your meal, I would say go ahead and oh, my olive oil? No, it's a dark yellow. It's not green. It's a dark yellow. I know some of the really good ones from Italy are on the green side. I've seen that. So this would be how I would start things off, to be honest. And I'm really excited that I have this because this morning I bought bagels for my family and I can't eat them anymore. I bought them from a kosher bakery not too far from here. So I will start with this. And there's something else I want to share with you. I learned something. I love when I learn something new. And I learned something new this week. I'm going to take a little bite. I did toast the bread. This weekend, I'm going to wash this off real quick. This weekend, I saw on sale at my grocery store, they had, this is a kiwi. So, hi Chad. We are talking high protein hummus, which we've already made. And then this is going to be my dessert for today. Might eat dessert first. But anyway, we all know about green kiwi, right? And they're very furry. And then I've also seen in my grocery stores around here, we have the golden kiwis, which are a lot less, they have a lot less of that fur on the skin. And then this is new. This is called a ruby red kiwi. I think that's what it's called. Is that it? Yeah, ruby red. So they're ruby red. Got to stay away from where I had the olives, but they are so pretty inside. And what I found out, I was watching a show in Australia, a morning show, because it was a whole. I wanted to see what these were all about, right? And I think these are so pretty. So this is what they look like inside. And what I found out was one kiwi has all the vitamin C that you need for an entire day. These, because they don't have that fur on them, you don't even notice the skin's there. And the skin actually has a ton of fiber in it. Now, they said some people are still not going to like the fact that there's fiber, but they said if you cut them like this, you don't even notice. And they're right, you don't. I can actually like take the one end off and I can eat the whole thing, just kind of like you eat an apple or whatever. But these have kind of a berry taste to them. And they said if you don't like the skin, like you don't like to eat the skin, you can freeze the skin and then put it in smoothies. So it adds fiber without adding any taste to them. So I just thought that was a really cool thing to share. They are sweet. They've got the same consistency as a regular kiwi, only, like I said, I think the skin, I don't even really notice it's there. And they are just so, so very good. And like I said, I knew this was going to be a quick one today because If you want to up your protein and keep yourself fuller for longer, this is a great way to do it. It's healthy. It's got a lot of fiber in it. It's got a lot of protein in it. Like I said, if you're going to miss the pita, this is a great brand of gluten-free sourdough bread. It really is. If you can get your hands on it. I toasted it up to make it a little more sturdy so that I can put some on it. Tomorrow, like I said, and I know these look terrible, but they taste really good. We're going to make some gluten-free homemade Cheez-Its. So come back for that. I'm going to make cheddar, and I'm going to make some pepper jack, which will be for my husband because I'm not into spicy. I'll try it, but those are basically going to be for him. I have had pink pineapple, and they are really, really good too. I think there's something about those little tiny pineapples that they get so ripe and so good. Um, but that's really all I've got for you guys today. So if there's anything else you want to see me make, we're going to do road trip snacks all week this week. I'm excited about that. I've got some really fun things planned. And we will be back tomorrow, like I said, for the Cheez-Its, and all the rest of the week for these awesome road trip snacks. So love you guys. Have a great night. Eat well and be well.